I'm Leslie Richards, Secretary of the Pennsylvania Department of Transportation. Happy to be here today with a great group of female leaders at PennDOT. Some have been here a long time, some more recently. And we'd like to talk to them about the importance of diversity and inclusion and hear a little bit about what they do at PennDOT. So I'm going to turn to them to introduce themselves. They're coming from all different areas here in Pennsylvania. And so to start us off, Karen, I'm going to go to you.
Okay, thank you. My name is Karen Michael. I'm from Clearfield, Pennsylvania with PennDOT District 2. I've been with the department a little bit over 31 years. So real happy to be here and be part of this.
Hello, I'm Sherman Sirianni. I'm from the Pittsburgh area, District 11, and I've also been with PennDOT for a little over 31 years.
Suzanne Itzko, Deputy Secretary for Administration. This is my second time serving as Deputy Secretary for Administration.
Hi, I'm Sandy Tosca. I'm the District Executive for PennDOT Engineering District 3. Work out of the Montoursville area.
So we're happy to be here. We're going to talk about a few things, how we encourage women and minorities, as well as the job environments. So I'd like to kick things off by setting up our first question, which is encouraging women and minorities to pursue careers in government and transportation has been one of our biggest hurdles in increasing diversity. Why do you feel it's important to have women represented in transportation and government? A very open-ended question, but I know we all have perspectives and thoughts to share. So once again, Karen, if you want to share some ideas with us.
It's really very important for women to know that there are careers out there in government and transportation and that nothing is too difficult. If you have a desire to go into some sort of science or math type of field, this is a perfect field for you because there's so many different diverse areas where you can go and actually build a career.
With some of the younger folks coming out of college, they really are into public service and doing good for the community and working for the government, especially in the transportation area. You're on a daily basis making strides and improvements in the place where you live and to all your community and your family, and it's a very rewarding and challenging place to work.
So everything I've read says that diversity helps with bottom line. As far as PennDOT goes, even though we're not private industry, our funding is restricted, so all the money that we save goes back onto the roads. When we talk about diversity, we're not just talking about women, we're not talking about race, we're talking about diversity of perspectives, and that helps us be more innovative when we're trying to solve problems and create solutions.
Diversity is important to the organization because it brings different perspectives to the table, and the fact that we interact so much with the public, we do need to understand all those different perspectives, and that's where it's really a key. And there's endless opportunities working with the department, from environmental to structural engineering, highway design. So the opportunities are really endless for areas of interest.
Sure. I mean, I've found that, first of all, I'm thrilled. It's the first time at PennDOT that we have 3 female district executives out of the 11 district executives that we have. And I think it makes a big difference. I know, Sandy, you were first to come in, and being the only woman, but has its challenges, but also a wonderful opportunity as well. But to have more diverse perspectives, as has been brought up, I find it very valuable, and very, very excited to have more perspectives and better decisions, I think, we're able to make because we have more choices, because we all look at things, very differently. And of course, Suzanne, happy to have you as part of our senior team in Harrisburg. We also have the most diverse staff in terms of gender at the central office level as well, where we have several high positions. And I do think it really does make a difference in how we move forward, and it's also important. I'm interested if anyone has any comments on this. Obviously, we serve the public, and the public is 50%, actually in Pennsylvania, 51% female, right? There are as many men and women who drive on our roads, who cross our bridges, who take rail, who need transit to get to and from their daily activities. Obviously, airports as well. It's not like you only see one, you know, you only see men or you only see women in these areas. And so I think it's very important when we design, when we build, when we go out and explain what we're doing as well, that different perspectives are there. And obviously what's important to all of us is that people see females in leadership roles making these decisions. And I know we've all talked about that before as well. Sometimes just being there, you know, you don't realize the impact that you can have on someone, but it's very important when those decisions are being made. Anyone have any other comments before we move on to our next question?
Well, I think as far as what you just said, Secretary, that when you do go to the public, and you've probably had this happen to Sandy and Karen, that when you do go to a public meeting and you are speaking, sometimes, and this doesn't happen all the time, but the ladies in the room maybe tend to pay a little bit more attention to you. They may think you're being a little bit more genuine because they can look at you and maybe think that you're feeling the same way they do about certain subjects, when over the years they've notoriously seen just men in those positions. And in addition, in the same vein, that a lot of the younger women, when you attend different, not just career fairs, when you reach out and go to high schools, and when they see that a female, especially in minority high schools, they don't have parents that were maybe in the engineering fields or in the technical fields. So when they see that, hey, there's opportunities for us to go into these fields, it's a good outreach, and it makes you feel good when you leave that you might have maybe helped one or two females in a room go into a career they might not have gone into.
What I've found is when we have our county staff meetings where we have spring and fall safety days, the guys even seem to sit up a little bit, like, oh, here comes Karen, what's she gonna say this time, you know? But then there's a lot of females in the room where they weren't used to having somebody stand up there in front of them and say anything, so they're really interested in what do you have to say and what's coming up or what are our goals. So it's very, very interesting to see the dynamics
It's a
change.
totally different dynamic, yeah.
And to Cheryl's point, we have 7 high school students in central office, and we're all women, and they're seniors in high school. And for me, I think it's really great to have them see women in leadership positions, because you're right, I don't think they get to see that very often. So they see a lot of men in the department, but they see a woman in charge, which I think is really impactful for them.
To know it's an option. I mean, I can speak about everyone here is highly qualified for their jobs, and we know we didn't get these jobs because we are women, but we definitely bring that extra perspective. So the next question that I'd also like to discuss is, what can you do or advise others to do when you realize your job environment is not ready to allow you to break that glass ceiling, even when you express an interest in new opportunities? I know that's a challenge. So Sandy, if you want to share your thoughts.
Well, you know, first of all, sometimes folks believe that the only way to, you know, reach those positions, those higher positions, is to progressively go through promotions. But sometimes you need to step laterally to get that experience. And if you're willing to do that, maybe there's a little delay in it, but sometimes that diverse experience is really what you need to reach that next level. So sometimes it's seeking that versus climbing up the ladder. And I think it's important not to overlook those opportunities. However, if it's very clear, and I came from a very nurturing organization in District 3, and I was very fortunate to have a lot of great male mentors and leaders that actually groomed me to be the district executive at some point. They saw some ability and talent, skill, and really worked, you know, a number of them over the number of decades I was at District 3, or still am. But you know, when you realize maybe that organization isn't for you, then it is time to look for other opportunities in another organization. And otherwise you become very bitter and angry, and you're not maybe working to your full potential.
I just want to expand on something that Sandy said. She mentioned mentoring. I didn't realize until recently that mentoring was important. In fact, Secretary Richards volunteered to be my mentor. I don't think that's how it works, but she's my boss, so we're gonna go with it.
You couldn't say
yeah.
no.
No, I didn't have a choice. It's really important. I think that for the young person who's starting out their career, that mentor can be an advocate for them and help give them guidance as they move through the organization, give them good advice and help them.
What I did in my career, and I was very fortunate like you were, Sandy. I had very good male mentors along the way, but I always wanted to be the first person to try the new thing. So I was the first person to try this because I asked. A lot of times some of the women are less apt to ask to do something because they're afraid they're going to fail, but sometimes the men are never afraid to ask to do something because they have a little bit more confidence. So I think trying new things, be the first person to try the new inroads package or the software package, or volunteer to be on a statewide committee or a team. That'll give you the opportunity maybe to showcase yourself and your abilities where folks might have been trying to keep you down, so to speak, maybe not doing it on purpose, but you were being kept down from being promoted. This will give you an opportunity to showcase your talents to get promoted.
And just a little bit to expand on her is that become indispensable, become that person that people want to go to because they know you are the one that has the answers. No matter where you're at, learn as much as you possibly can, and then be that go-to person. And it starts to get noticed after a while, and they start to think, well, maybe she can do something different, or maybe she can expand into another area. So it's very good.
It's all good advice. You know, for myself as well. There's always something you can learn, no matter what. Because it's kind of like that saying with actors, like no small roles. You know, only so you make the best of what you can. What you can do, and I think if you know, attitude is so important. So if you go into an environment, or if you go into a challenge and saying, I'm going to get this out of it, I think that can be extremely helpful. And Sandy, what you said, I think is so important too. You don't have to stay in a place that is not supporting you, that you're not feeling like you are, first of all, being appreciated for what you're putting in, but also that you don't have the support and the mentorship that you need in that place as well. And I think that's very important. I probably talk to others mostly about that issue. Like, okay, if this isn't working for you, let's look at other places that are working for you. And the other thing I'd like to throw out there as we're finishing up is, now that I'm in this position, I've been very straightforward about it. And that is, I expect every firm that comes to me and wants to do business with PennDOT, that diversity is also important to them, and they know that. And so we are looking to see diversity in their senior teams. We're looking to see diversity in their leadership. We're looking to see them bring a diverse group when they meet any of us. And even if we always challenge them to bring somebody, identify someone in their firm or who they work with who would appreciate that opportunity, and they can learn and grow and then be supported and be promoted. So you have my personal word that we appreciate that in other firms, and we've definitely seen some positive movement in that direction. But letting every firm in Pennsylvania know that diversity is valued at PennDOT, and we want to work with firms that have that very important goal in mind. So.
Secretary, to build on your one comment, if you aren't happy where you're at, though, say something. Because a lot of times we have people leave and then we find out they weren't happy, and we could have easily given them an opportunity in another area or did something. So, if somebody is, not happy with their certain position or doing what their tasks do, ask for something else, because we are in all in positions to make that happen. So that's part of what, have a little confidence in us too.
So as we wrap this up, and I think you'll probably agree with this statement, but as we all got into our positions, there are many women and men who helped us here. So don't just look for help from other women. Mm-hmm. Men can be I would not be here if it weren't for men who helped me and helped me in this leadership position. So we're all in this together. Again, diversity helps everybody, not just women, but also the men that we work with. So thank you so much for joining us today. We enjoyed sharing our thoughts, and we look forward to having further discussions.